2020, which begins online from 4th of November. It's a 6-day virtual platform that will continue till 9th of November 2020, featuring a plethora of eclectic handicrafts of India that are exported to various countries across the world year after year, to buyers who are eagerly awaiting all the time for the new collections. The handicrafts market is fashion oriented, as we all know. It works on the latest trends. A paradigm shift has already happened as far as going green is concerned. The key word here is sustainability. This pandemic has forced us to rethink very seriously about life, about our future. There is a need to be closer to nature, to be organic, to eat organic, to buy organic, and so on. And if it comes at a price, so be it. In the long run, it will, however, only save costs. For the webinar today, which is on sustainability. The exact topic is sustainable fashion. Why is it the future? And we have with us to talk on this topic, Mrs. Ankita S. Pandey. She is an associate professor in the Department of Design, Sharda University. She's a design leader, mentor, academician, has over 18 years of experience in her field of sustainable fashion, fashion forecast, innovations in functional clothing, and so on. She has very successfully worked with international brands, very top brands like Disney, Warner Brothers, Game of Thrones, Reed and Taylor, Free Culture, H&M, Nicole Farahi, Anthropology, FC UK, and so on. So she's been also a guest lecturer at NIFT, and it's our honor to have her here with us. She's an expert on the topic, and before I hand over the floor to her, I would like to welcome our chairman of EPCH, Sri Ravi K. Pasiji, who has joined us for this webinar. Welcome, sir, and thank you for taking out time for this webinar. So now over to Ankita ji.
Thank you so much, Madhuji. It's my pleasure and honor to be invited by Export Promotion Council of Handicraft. And I totally enjoy this opportunity to talk about a subject which is very close to my heart. And it's something towards which I have grown towards, starting from doing a lot of work in fast fashion and then realizing the perils of it and then moving into it. So this is my learning by doing, the outcome of my learning by doing. And I'm really happy to be here and talk about this topic with you all. So let me know whenever I can start the presentation.
You can start it right away.
Thank you so much. So I would share my screen and then we can take it forward. So welcome all once again, and we are here to talk about sustainable fashion and to really understand that why is it going to be aligned with the future. It is an inevitable future, and when we say inevitable, it is not just inevitable for fashion, but fashion in a very holistic manner, whether it is handicraft, whether it is handloom, whether it is, contemporary fashion, industrial level, from all aspects. So this is where we are moving towards. Let's get started with the presentation. So for today's discussion, these are 5 pointers that I have noted down over here about which we are going to be talking about. We are going to start with first talking about it. Why are we really heading for a hard landing? So the understanding is that yes, we are moving towards a very strong hard landing. Why is it so? The second is what are the challenges that the handicraft export industry is currently facing, and how sustainable fashion is a solution to a lot of those problems. Fourthly, we are going to be talking about how sustainable fashion is actually going to be the new definition of luxury, the real definition of luxury in the future. And then lastly, we are going to be seeing different examples, different ways in which we can actually make this happen. So examples that are taken out of the industry, examples that are taken out of where I'm connecting industry with forecast and connecting it all together, so that you over here can actually learn and develop an understanding that how can we make it doable. So let's begin with this data that is there in front of you. Now, this is the data from EPCH, and it tells you about how exports of handicraft has grown over years. Now, if you see that there is this dip that the export had observed in year 2010, 2011, and after that, since almost 2015 and 16, in fact, from 15 onwards, there actually has been a very slow, stagnant movement upwards. So we haven't really seen a great growth rate over here. So this has kind of happened because of, if I talk about into larger groups, then slowdown in demand is being experienced by export industry. Also, the cost has been steadily rising of the raw material. And these two reasons have contributed in a big way of really bringing us to this stagnant state. Now, this figure over here is definitely something that gives us a food for thought. It tells us that the
फोन करो चलिए आ गई ना हाँ अंकिता जी कहाँ I think there is slight technical glitch.
So we'll wait for her to join back.
Yeah, she will join. You have to keep your phone in a horizontal mode. That's अभी ठीक हो गया. Now it's okay. She's back.
So I'm sorry, there was some sort of network loss over here. So,
Okay, no problem. Go ahead. You can share your screen.
Yes. All right. So we were here on this page, catching back. Now, we have this figure out here, and this definitely tells us that we need to think in a new way. We need to think up of different kinds of business models. The existing might not really give us the growth that we are really looking at. Why? Why are we really heading towards this hard landing? So if we try and answer, to find solutions, we have to really look at the whys here. So if we try and look into this a little closely, there are these 8 indicators that we can look at, which I have divided into 2 groups. So one is economic trends and the second is consumer trend. So when we start with the economic trend, we must observe that in 2007 and 2009, when the world was facing global recession, after that, in 2010, handicraft exports saw a major dip. Now, the point that we must note, we are all aware that 2019 onwards, and especially due to the pandemic, the slowdown is here again, and a recession is already on our heads. So there is definitely going to be a reaction from the market towards this. There is also increased protectionism, which has happened lately in last 5 to 8 years, whether it is, America coming up with models where they make it important that any company, if they want to work there, if they want to work out of America, then it is important that you have an entity, a business entity placed out of US. So these are some restrictions which one of our major market for handicraft export has laid down. This has happened because there is heavy focus on building up the local now. Other than this, even beyond this, even before the economic slowdown, the American markets and the European markets have been sluggish when it comes to growth in exports, not just in handicraft, but overall exports. Now, the point that must be noted down over here is that for India, traditionally, US and Europe markets have been the major targets. That's where maximum of our export concentration can be seen. We have to move on after that to the industrial pollution problem that we see and how the world is desperately trying to fight against it. Desertification, scarcity of resources, these are very serious problems with which the industry is struggling, and these issues are causing major economic hurdles, major growth hurdles for the industry. The second group is the consumer trend. Now, this is a very, very important group that we see over here. Overall, globally, what we can see is that increasingly, consumers do not feel that the manufacturing of the clothes that they are purchasing is good for the environment. There is an increasing lack of trust. And this has been proved through a lot of surveys, a lot of polls, a lot of studies and reports are there. One over here I have quoted from ecotextile.com. Then, added to this lack of trust, the preferences of the consumers are changing, and they are changing in a very polar manner. So consumers are increasingly focusing, making sustainability a priority. Because of pandemic, hygiene and safety are the next set of priority that we see. Added to that, local crafts give them the tag of authenticity, which is becoming increasingly important for the consumers, plus comfort and performance. Aesthetic is not the only point on which you can convince the consumer now to go ahead and buy your product. It must give you something extra, a different edge, answering to the current needs of the lifestyles. There is a huge demand because of the above reasons. There is a huge demand for green products by the millennials. We are going to be talking a lot more about consumer and how it is really important to understand where they are heading to give them what they need and fight this slowdown in demand. The changing consumer trends is one of the major reasons of this slowdown in the demand of handicraft exports. So we see this downward trend. We can see that it has started. And we can observe this because of the slow or stagnant growth that the exports have shown. Now here is a table that shows that what has been the change from year 2018-19 to 2019-20 for handicraft exports. Now, as you can see, there are 13 groups of countries over here, and out of which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 have shown negative growth over here. This is a worrying situation. Now, if you just observe and keep it in your mind, because I'm going to talk about Italy again, once again, later in the presentation, the degrowth is very big. It is almost 20%. We must note the countries where we see an accelerated growth, and we must try and focus and understand that why is this happening. That is Germany, Switzerland, and Netherlands. So please keep these data, this figure in your head. Let's move on. So there are some challenges, clearly. अब ये challenges क्या हैं और उनके लिए उस particular challenge के लिए क्या solution propose करा जा सकता है, इस slide पे मैं इसके बारे में बात करूँ. Product standardization handicraft का एक बहुत बड़ा issue रहा है हमेशा से. अब इसको कैसे tackle किया जाए? Tackle करने का जो एक तरीका होगा वो ये होगा that we start prioritizing certifications. And what kind of certifications? Sustainable certifications that transparently tells the entire design and production process of an exporter, such as Craft Mark or Fair Trade. These are some certifications that they can definitely go towards. Then there is a limited finance opportunity. Most of handicraft industry is very labor intensive. It is very MSME. There are small export units. Now, one of the problems that they face is that the finance opportunities are very limited. Of course, government's MSME financial support schemes are an option. But other than that, if more support is required, so my suggestion to the exporters is going to be that please explore incubation centers that may be run by academic institutions or other institutions. So please explore incubation centers to look for private investment. Quality has been a very major setback for Indian exports and Indian handicraft exports since a long time now. Now, how do we counter that? We all know it. Bad quality is not acceptable. Now, how do we improve upon this? There is an urgent need that periodically we focus on skill development. Not once in a lifetime approach, but periodically skill development must be focused. Awareness campaigns must be run in the skilled and semi-skilled labor or unskilled labor as well to try and educate them about the importance of maintaining quality. Child labor propaganda has been one issue that handicraft industry on and off continuously faces, that there is a huge concentration of child labor in the production of the handicrafts. Now over here, what we can do is, now this is a marketing propaganda. What can we do? We can bring the focus on the women employment opportunity. Indian handicraft industry employs a large number of women. Why not talk about them? As we had spoken in the slides earlier, US and UK markets are already mature and saturated. So now is the time to focus on emerging markets. In the next slide, we are going to be talking a little more about this. Then there is a mindset कि आर्टिजन्स के साथ काम करना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. वो चेंज को जल्दी से अडॉप्ट नहीं करते हैं. इस माइंडसेट को बदलने के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि हम आर्टिजन्स के बीच में मार्केटिंग और कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स की इम्पोर्टेंस की अंडरस्टैंडिंग बढ़ाएं, उन्हें एजुकेट करें. मेरे नज़रिए में मार्केटिंग एंड कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स को हमें आउटसोर्स ना करके हैंडीक्राफ्ट इंडस्ट्री में आर्टिजन को ही समझाने की ज़रूरत है कि वो कैसे अपने ये टारगेट्स अचीव कर सकते हैं. हाउ कैन दे बिकम बेटर मार्केटर्स, हाउ कैन दे बिकम better communicators. Now, technology has created a lot of tools that are very easy to handle and learn. And we must, especially the young artisans, we must teach them how to go about this. Then rising raw material cost is a very big issue all across export, whether you talk about A kind of export or B kind of export. And this is majorly because we are living in the times of scarcity, where the natural resources are becoming scarce. And hence, over here, a direct solution is that we move on to sustainable business models and we use sustainable business models to reduce cost. We are going to be talking a lot more about this point later in the slides. There is a slowdown in demand. Now, how can this be countered? सोशल कॉमर्स पे शिफ्ट करने की ज़रूरत है. सोशल कॉमर्स क्या होता है इसके बारे में हम आगे बात करेंगे. और हमें जो नई तरीके की कंज्यूमर नीड्स आ रही हैं उनको ना इग्नोर करके रीडिज़ाइन करने की ज़रूरत है अपने क्राफ्ट को, और नए प्रोडक्ट्स बनाने की ज़रूरत है नई ज़रूरतों के हिसाब से. Explore emerging markets, please. It is really time for the good of exports of India. It is a desperate need that we start looking beyond US and Europe. Now, this is a data from EPCH itself. These are some of the emerging global markets for handicrafts, region-wise. So as you can see, there are a lot of these countries जिसको हमने explore ही नहीं किया है. इनका नाम ही नहीं था उस लिस्ट में जो अभी मैंने थोड़ी देर पहले हम लोग टेबल देख रहे थे. बहुत सारी कंट्रीज का नाम ही नहीं था. तो हम लोगों को प्रोडक्ट्स क्रिएट करने की ज़रूरत है, डिज़ाइन करने की ज़रूरत है जो इन मार्केट्स के लिए अप्रोप्रिएट रहें. तो हमने चैलेंजेस की बात कर ली, थोड़ी बहुत ज़रूरतों की बात कर ली. अब हम आते हैं मुद्दे पे कि सस्टेनेबल फैशन कैसे इन चैलेंजेस को, इन हर्डल्स को जंप करने के लिए एक सोल्यूशन है. तो यहाँ पे जो ज़्यादा हाईलाइट टर्म है वो है सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट. जब हम सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट की बात करते हैं तो हम तीनों चीज़ों पे बराबर सोचते हैं. इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ, प्रॉफिट होना चाहिए बिल्कुल. एनवायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन, बिना एनवायरमेंट को हार्म किए, और सोशल इक्वालिटी के साथ. मास अनरेस्ट नहीं होंगे. इतने सारे आए दिन कहीं ना कहीं कोई धरना होता रहता है, कोई प्रॉब्लम होती रहती है. ये सब कुछ का एक कारण है सोशल इनइक्वालिटी. एंड ऑल दीज आर बैड फॉर बिजनेस. सो वी मस्ट बिल्ड अप एन एनवायरमेंट जहाँ पे हमारे बिजनेसेस से सोशल ग्रोथ हो, सोशल इक्वालिटी हो. तो सस्टेनेबल फैशन फॉर सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट. अभी तक फैशन ने इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ और एस्थेटिक्स पे फोकस किया था. समय आ गया है बदलने का. नाउ सस्टेनेबल फैशन, यूएन सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स, 17 सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स यूएन ने लॉन्च किए थे 2012 में. ऑब्जेक्टिव था to produce a set of universal goals that meet the urgent environmental, political and economic challenges faced by our world. तो गोल नंबर 5, 8, 10, 9, 12, 13, 11, 15 ये गोल्स फैशन के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा रेलेवेंट हैं. अब हम बात करेंगे कैसे. जेंडर इक्वालिटी की जब हम बात करते हैं तो हम बात करते हैं फेयर पे फॉर विमेन. ना सिर्फ लेबर इंटेंसिव जगह बट इवन डिजाइन हाउसेस में डिसेंट वर्क एंड इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ, ऐसा काम देना जिससे उनका इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ हो सके, फैमिलीज का, कम्युनिटीज का. इनइक्वालिटी रिड्यूस करना एक बहुत ज़रूरी चीज़ है अभी. पॉलिटिकल चैलेंजेस को ओवरकम करने के लिए इंडस्ट्री, इनोवेशन और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे फोकस हो, पर बिना एनवायरमेंटल हार्म के, रिस्पॉन्सिबल कंजम्पशन एंड प्रोडक्शन। हम लोगों को सिर्फ डिजाइनर्स नहीं बनना है, हम लोगों को रिस्पॉन्सिबल डिजाइनर्स बनना है, हम लोगों को सिर्फ एक्सपोर्टर नहीं बनना है, हमें रिस्पॉन्सिबल एक्सपोर्टर बनना है। कैसे? हम जो कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं उस पर ध्यान दें, और जब हम प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं और रिसोर्सेज जो यूज कर रहे हैं उस पर ध्यान दें। Scarcity of resources is a very major problem for the world right now. Otherwise, our children are not going to have water to drink and land to sleep safely. Climatic changes, desertification, बहुत major problems हैं. Sustainable cities and communities develop करने की ज़रूरत है, सिर्फ urban centers नहीं, बल्कि second tier cities भी. Life on land, life on water, दोनों को ह्यूमन लाइफ के अलावा जो लाइफ है लैंड और वाटर में, उन्हें प्रोटेक्ट करने की जरूरत है। इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ने एसडीजीज के साथ अपना कमिटमेंट नेशनल लेवल पे, इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे बहुत स्ट्रांगली दिखाया है। यहाँ पे सशक्त भारत, स्वच्छ भारत, समग्र भारत, सतत भारत और संपन्न भारत, ये सारे ड्रीम है, विजन है एक एम्पावर्ड, रेजिलियंट, clean, healthy, inclusive, entrepreneurial, prosperous, vibrant, and hence sustainable India के लिए. So government is aligned with UN Sustainable Development Goals, and fashion, international fashion, is also aligned towards UN Sustainable Development Goals. अब आगे बढ़ने के पहले एक छोटी सी सक्सेस स्टोरी के बारे में बात करते। ये कहानी है आशा हैंडीक्राफ्ट की, which was facing stagnation in its exports to the West. So what did they do? They opened 3 fair trade shops in Mumbai and 10 shopping shop stores in a big bookshop chain all over India. And this business strategy became a very big hit for them. So a success story, exporters में से, हम में से ही हिंदुस्तानी। तो मार्केट अगर आपकी स्टैग्नेंट हो रही है, नई मार्केट सोचें, और कैसे एक सस्टेनेबल सर्टिफिकेशन आपके लिए एक पॉजिटिव मार्केटिंग कम्युनिकेशन बन सकता है, उसका एक बहुत अच्छा और पॉजिटिव एग्जाम्पल है आशा हैंडीक्राफ्ट। वो इंडिया की बात थी। अब जरा इंटरनेशनल कंज्यूमर्स ट्रेंड के बारे में बात करते हैं। So this survey was published on April 20th, 2020 by Tagwalk. 800 participants had participated in this survey, global participants, और ये इनके जवाब थे। So how many of them check if a brand is sustainable before buying? 46%. So it's almost getting on the 50% range already. Do you feel fashion brands took a step towards sustainability during the last fashion week? Yes. This means that the consumer is conscious कि क्या हो रहा है. Now, how many consumers, what percentage of these consumers did check out the composition of the product that they were buying? कि plastic, latex, जो ये खराब हैं हमारे environment के लिए, इनका percentage कितना है? 38% said that they still buy such products. 62% have said no, they have rejected. 75% consumers said that they would pay extra, they would pay a higher price. And 71%, a very important point over here, my friends, 71% ने बोला है कि वो local खरीदने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। तो अभी तक हमने जितनी बातें करी थी वो कुछ हद तक इस सर्वे के साथ बहुत ज्यादा रेजोनेट करता है। Now this is another report. ये WGSN का रिपोर्ट है। जिन्होंने स्प्रिंग समर 2020 के लिए एक्सेसरीज ब्रांड के बारे में, अपैरल एक्सेसरीज एंड फुटवेयर ब्रांड का सर्वे किया और ये बता रहे हैं कि कंज्यूमर की प्रेफरेंसेस कौन से कैटेगरी में किस तरफ है। तो अगर हम देखें तो एक्सेसरीज के लिए कंज्यूमर्स हैंडमेड प्रोडक्ट्स प्रेफर कर रहे हैं सबसे ज्यादा, और उसके बाद हैंडमेड प्रोडक्ट्स के बाद आर्टिजन प्रोडक्ट्स एंड देन ऑथेंटिक प्रोडक्ट्स। अब आप इधर देखें कि कंज्यूमर का रुझान किस तरफ जा रहा है। So a very big percentage of consumer is going towards artisanal. This is a very good news for handicraft industry, because other than handicraft industry, nobody else can do it. This is very good news for handicraft exports. तो बहुत जरूरी है कि इंडियन हैंडीक्राफ्ट एक्सपोर्ट कंपनीज अपने कम्युनिकेशन को इस सर्वे के हिसाब से, इस रिजल्ट के हिसाब से, इस प्रोजेक्शन के हिसाब से अब अलाइन करना शुरू कर दें। कंक्लूजन ये निकलता है, फास्ट फैशन, चीप फैशन इज गोइंग डाउन, sustainability and quality products preferences is going up. Sustainable fashion in the future is going to become the luxury. We can call it the new luxury. Any brand that would want to do luxury products will have to do sustainable products. Fashion की definition is not equal to only aesthetics and consumerism anymore. Fashion is equal to aesthetics plus function plus quality plus environmentally safe plus socially positive and of course profitable. This is, my friends, the new definition of fashion. This is where the world is moving towards. Now let's see handicraft कैसे fit in होता है। तो मैंने यहाँ पे एक formula, comparative formula इधर डाला है। So handicraft is equal to rural plus women employment plus basic tools plus traditional techniques. We all know this, right? Now what is this? All this combination leaves a positive environmental impact. Whereas to counter it, industrial production is equal to high technological methods and often leads to negative social and environmental impact. So these are some trends, emerging trends in the industry for the future for handicraft businesses, proved by studies. The trend is towards sustainable luxury retail brand, trend is towards e-commerce, and trend is towards sustainable fashion. Now, we did look at that how sustainable fashion becomes a new category over here. We did look at that how sustainable fashion can solve a lot of the existing challenges. But let's also look at over here the next problem that we had observed, the problem of cost. That can sustainable business models actually solve your problem of increasing cost of raw material? Yes, they can. And this is when we come and we start talking about the solutions. Now, these are the solutions that are here. They can almost more or less, sum up the way things are moving towards. A lot of the solutions that you see over here, I have found these out by reading a lot of survey reports, by reading the report of EPCH, by also reading the reports of trend agencies. So this is what the global market is actually talking about. This is what the consumer is looking at. Now let's look at them one by one, shall we? So first, this I'm quoting from the survey report mentioned over here, survey done on the sustainability for the handicraft sector. So they have said that the handicraft sectors have been recognized as a solution to sustainable economic development, as they can offer opportunities for employment, especially in rural areas, and contribute to economic growth and environmental sustainability. So, handicraft, artisanal products, handmade, these are a big answer to our sustainable development challenges. So, if it is the answer, then why not quickly move towards them? What are the future products that you can do? These three words are the words that you must think in your mind when you're doing your innovation. Healer, protector, ethical. Now, a lot of these images are from WGSN over here, and let's talk about them. Now, I had told you that, keep in mind the degrowth that the Italian exports have seen. Now, what do you think? Where is this produced and where is this made? This is from Manebi, an Italian brand. And what are they saying? Designed in Italy and handmade in Spain. Why not India? So these are some products, some kind of products, and the kind of communication that you can give about your products to attract the new emerging markets, to align with the changing needs of the consumers. So this, beautiful bottle bag is really interesting. And over here, let's not forget about who really made our product, not the celebrity who we see in the advertisements, but this person sitting here working hard with bent back and neck, who is actually making this product. Let's recognize them, and by recognizing and noticing them, let's give them the respect that they deserve. The handmade crochet products. And over here, if you see, now this is an aura ring, and it is a very beautiful infusion of technology and aesthetics. So over here, the focus is on using metals that have antimicrobial effects and properties. So hence, going towards the healer and the protector approach. And then let's look at this beautiful back. Now, the trend of the product, the future product, is definitely moving towards upcycling, DIY craft, and real authentic craftsmanship. So craftsmen are in demand, and the demand of craftspeople is going to increase over next few years. Let's catch on to this. Let's use our craftsmen to tell them their own story. The next is, don't waste the waste. Please don't waste the waste. Use every little scrap. The concentration should constantly be on reducing and reusing waste. Now, as a very conscious effort, I have used 3 brands over here that have Indian origin: Pero, Kasha, and Funky Kalakar, because this is what our culture has taught us. This is what we have been doing for centuries. Let's own it, and let's show the world how it is done. Every scrap of fabric, every scrap of raw material can be reused and handcrafted in a way that least number of virgin resources are used. We must focus on upcycling. We must continuously, the first place where we go for our raw material sourcing and shopping should be in our waste bins. We should learn to sort them, save them in an organized manner, and we must first look at our waste so that we use the least amount of virgin resources. Now over here, you can see that, these small little pieces of material and fabric are being used to, threads are being used to add aesthetics to product, to add story to the product. And we can see the craft person working over here. Her hard work is coming out along with the love that she has for her craft. And then here we see Kasha, where they are making this conscious effort of using every scrap of fabric. And they have used a very old craft of India of making rajai and converting it into a very trendy product that millennials would love. And then over here, a beautiful handcrafted shoe, which is hand painted. We must start thinking about how our artisans can move on to make new products and not continue to make repeatedly the products for which there is the demand has already gone down or is stagnant. Now, sustainability is impossible without collaboration. We must have big hearts and we must open our doors to talk about these issues, to collaborate with each other. Progress can be made only if brands and only if companies, export houses join forces to solve common problems, drawing on each other's expertise to get the industry to the place that it needs to be. Why not share raw materials? Why not, if a raw material is not being used in my company, in my export house, why not send it off to some other export house, look for a customer, share it, sell it? We must together to bring awareness and education, all speak in a common language, the language of collaboration, the language of sustainable development. We must also, once we collaborate and once we see that, the elders are working together on handicraft, it is bound to increase interest in the youth because they will see opportunity. They will see that, all right, this is where I can use my energy, my creativity. We must bring the traditional craftspeople to the mainstream, not let them be hidden behind the cameras. We must talk about their stories. We must give them the credit that they definitely owe. We have to talk about craft in design institutes all over India. We must use the creative, innovative ideas of young students of 18, 19, 20 years to come up with new ideas. They understand the upcoming emerging needs very well. Let us give it to them. Now over here, there was a fashion convener that happened internationally where a lot of brands, they came together for the cause of sustainability. So whether it was fashion exchange, textile exchange, fashion for good, and sustainable apparel coalition, a coalition that is making a lot of efforts in this area, effective efforts in this area. They have all come together. Let's join. Ek or ek gyara. That is what is really required over here. Now, to tap the consumer trend, consumer is going to start trusting the brands. It's going to start trusting the manufacturer, not so easily. It's very difficult to get their trust or to retain their trust in the future. So it is shifting to social commerce, which means that we grow with social equality, is going to be a way that we can attract and retain customers with us, that we can get customers to be loyal with us. Because when a customer in their minds attaches themselves to a community, then they cannot disconnect. When they feel that their hard earned money is not just being added to make them look good, but also to put shoes on someone's feet or giving employment to women, that's what is going to bring your customer again and again back to you. So here is a formula that I have developed using WGSN's Consumer Insight Report. The current consumer sentiment and the future consumer sentiment as forecasted by WGSN is that there is an increasing amount of fear in them about stability, about their future. Consumers are stressed about environment, about the ecology. They are stressed about, what's happening about pollution. They are stressed about water scarcity. They are stressed about, the coming up generation. What legacy are we leaving behind? And the global consumer is also very concerned about their financial uncertainty. Now, what do? How can we counter this? We have to build resilient business models that inspire optimism in the consumer. Only then will they choose to invest their hard-earned money in your brand, in your product. Now, COVID-19, the pandemic, has absolutely increased the urgency in this area. We've seen brands and businesses finding new purposes and working with communities as well as customers to adapt to this sudden change. Now, here is an example. The picture that you see is part of the community effort of the footwear brand Toms, जिसका formula है 1 for 1. One shoe they sell and one shoe they give for charity to the needy. Let's start building up models that do not just look at profit, but also community building up. Let's start recognizing the women workers. They have been the major contributors in our economy, silent contributors in our economy. Let's start recognizing them. Let's start highlighting them, because when they make a contribution, they're not just making an economic contribution. They are making contribution at their family's level. Their mothers, their sisters, they have huge responsibility of the society on their shoulders, and their contribution comes at a much greater cost. Let's recognize them. These are the two ways in which we can build a resilient business model, a business model that inspires optimism in the consumer. Local पर focus बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. Now, Government of India, with its Make in India initiative, has given a potential uplifter. Potential. अब डिपेंड करेगा कि एक्सपोर्ट हाउसेस ने, हैंडीक्राफ्ट एक्सपोर्ट बिजनेसेस ने, डिजाइन स्टूडेंट्स ने कैसे इस इनिशिएटिव को अपने फायदे के लिए यूज कर लिया. हैंडलूम और हैंडीक्राफ्ट इंडस्ट्री को मेक इन इंडिया का काफी ज्यादा फायदा हो सकता है. कैसे? ज्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्रिएट हो सकती हैं, इनडिस्क्रिमिनेट अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्रिएट हो सकती हैं. अब हम कैसे कर सकते हैं? पहला तो सिंप्लिसिटी पे फोकस करें. सिंप्लिसिटी ज़्यादा आसानी से कंज्यूमर को समझ आती है, सिंप्लिसिटी ज़्यादा ऑथेंटिक लगती है, रियल लगती है, मार्केटिंग गिमिक नहीं लगती है कंज्यूमर को। कंज्यूमर सिंप्लिसिटी के साथ ज़्यादा जल्दी से आपके साथ अलाइन हो सकते हैं, लॉयल हो सकते हैं आपके प्रोडक्ट के साथ, आपके ब्रांड के साथ। सेकंड टियर सिटीज़ पे फोकस करें। अर्बन सेंटर्स जो ऑलरेडी बहुत क्राउडेड हैं, उनमें और ज़्यादा पॉपुलेशन इंक्रीज की ज़रूरत नहीं है। हम लोग जो क्राफ्ट है वो हमारे सेकंड टियर सिटीज़ में है, वो हमारे गांव में है, वो हमारे कस्बों में है, वहाँ जाओ, वहाँ काम करो। यहाँ नहीं, यहाँ आपको ग्रोथ अपॉर्चुनिटी भी नहीं मिलेगी, आपकी लाइफस्टाइल हेल्दी नहीं होगी, पॉजिटिव नहीं होगी। जितना हो सके प्लीज मूव टू सेकंड टियर सिटीज, जिससे आप गांव और कस्बों के साथ भी काम कर सकें और शहरों के साथ भी काम कर सकें। प्रोडक्ट्स ऐसे बनाने हैं, ऐसे सोचने हैं, ऐसे डिजाइन और मैन्युफैक्चर करने हैं कि लोकल और सोशल आइडेंटिटी खो ना जाए। हमें एक क्लरिकल मॉडल में नहीं फिक्स होना है, हमें हर चीज वेस्टर्न नहीं दिखानी है। ग्लोबल कंज्यूमर लोकल और सोशल आइडेंटिटीज के बारे में जानना चाहता है, समझना चाहता है, वो उन्हें कुछ नया दिखता है और ऑप्टिमिस्टिक पॉजिटिव दिखता है। तो अपनी लोकल कहानियां, आपका लोकल कल्चर, रहन सहन, उसको छुपाएं नहीं, उसके लिए हमें शर्माने की जरूरत नहीं है, उसको प्राइड के साथ यूज करें, डिजाइन करने के लिए, मैन्युफैक्चर करने के लिए। World increasingly is rejecting globalization and the focus is local, global consumer, local product. जब आप लोकली सोर्स करेंगे, आपकी कॉस्ट पे डेफिनेटली आपकी शिपिंग एंड पैकेजिंग कॉस्ट रिड्यूस होगी। जब आप लोकली सोर्स करते हैं, आपके लीड टाइम्स कम होते हैं, आपकी मिनिमम क्वांटिटीज कम होती हैं। जब आप डायरेक्टली क्लस्टर्स के साथ काम करते हैं, आर्टिजन्स के साथ काम करते हैं, वो आपको बड़ा बड़ा लीड टाइम और बड़ी बड़ी मिनिमम क्वांटिटीज नहीं बताते हैं, और आप अपने कॉस्ट में को रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं। आप अपने खर्चे, ओवरहेड कॉस्ट रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं अगर आप क्राउडेड सिटी सेंटर से दूर जाएं, सेकेंड टियर सिटीज में जाएं। Don't ignore packaging. And here I'm going to be talking about two aspects of packaging. One, please use packaging to tell your story. ऐसी होनी चाहिए, कम हो, मिनिमल पैकेजिंग, पर आपकी कहानी बताते हुए पैकेजिंग आप डिजाइन करें, जो आपकी सोशल और लोकल आइडेंटिटी और कहानी को कंज्यूमर तक लेके जाए, जिससे कंज्यूमर का एक डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन बन सके मैन्युफैक्चरर के साथ, आर्टिजन के साथ, क्राफ्ट पर्सन के साथ, और वो बार बार उस बिना शब्द के रिलेशनशिप फॉर्म जो हो जाती है, बार बार वो आपके पास लौट के आए। अपनी लोकल नॉलेज यूज करें। छोटी सी कहानी है, हम सब जानते हैं जो मेरे एज ग्रुप के होंगे, कि एक बर्तन वाला आता था जब हम छोटे थे। बर्तन, नए बर्तन लेके आता था, ज्यादातर स्टील के बर्तन चलते थे तब, और मम्मी मेरी देती थी कपड़े पुराने यूज्ड, वो कपड़ों के बदले में बर्तन देता था। बार्टर सिस्टम, लेट्स स्टार्ट यूजिंग बार्टर, लेट्स स्टार्ट यूजिंग दिस लोकल नॉलेज दैट वी हैव टू कम अप with new ways of designing businesses. Let's make packaging that's compostable, जिससे जो हमारा impact हो environment पे वो minimum हो। प्लास्टिक को अवॉइड करें, कंपोस्टेबल पैकेजिंग की तरफ जाएं। कंपोस्टेबल पैकेजिंग कैन ऑल्सो गिव यू, कैन बी रीयूज्ड, it can add to the environment and not just take away from it. So these are some ways, 3 ways in which we can work towards packaging, we can design packaging. Please ignore ना करें पैकेजिंग को, बहुत ज़्यादा important है। कंज्यूमर के साथ कनेक्ट करने के लिए और एनवायरनमेंट के साथ कनेक्ट करने के लिए. Then, lastly, let's spread the word. Let's talk about it. Let's not stop talking about it. I say it often now with a little bit of humility also, that I would shamelessly and endlessly, continuously talk about sustainability. My own personal experience of working with fast fashion has left me with a bad taste in my mouth. ये legacy छोड़ के मैं नहीं जाना चाहती हूँ अपनी future generation के लिए. वो मुझे इस कचड़े के पहाड़ के लिए ना याद करें. So let's talk about it. Now there is this global survey that had happened. In 2018, Nelson report had said that 81% of respondents said that they feel strongly that companies should help to improve environment, social commerce. We must help to improve, companies must help to improve the environment. 85% millennials said that they are looking for this in a company of their choice. They said they were the generation that said that it was extremely important or very important for companies to work towards improving the environment. Now, this survey has been a survey that has changed a lot of global business strategies all around for businesses, for brands, for companies, for exporters, for multinational companies. Now, it has been projected that out of $150 billion of spending that the consumer is going to spend, it is going to be on sustainable goods by 2021. Pandemic would slow this down, slow down this consumption, but yes, we are going towards it. That consumer had already realized the importance of sustainability much before pandemic. Pandemic has only accelerated their understanding, has made it more urgent. Now imagine, can Indian handicraft export business not use this 150 billion spending which is projected by the consumers? Yes, we can. We must. By talking about it, by spreading the word, what we do, transparently talking about it, and hence regaining consumers' interest and trust. Now, this is a formula that I have developed over here with my study by looking at handicrafts. What is handicraft? Handicraft is equal to rural and women employment plus basic tools plus traditional techniques. We all know this. Now, this is equal to positive environmental and social impact. And plus, added on to this positive impact, craft-centric consumer sentiment has already been observed by all the global surveys all around the world. Now, the moment we add positive environment and social impact plus craft-centric sentiment, where do we reach? We reach to a sustainable future. So handicraft can be equal to sustainable future. And hence, my friends, the topic of this talk, sustainable fashion, why is it the future? This is the reason why it is the future and how handicraft is aligned with this future. I would like to thank you all for listening to me and would welcome questions here.
Thank you, Ankita ji, for that wonderful talk. Well, the manufacturers have to align, as you said, with the changing needs of the consumers, and the changing needs are heavily tilting towards sustainability. And that's a good news for Indian artisans, because we've always relied on organic, on tradition, on green materials. So we have to take advantage of this new situation, the new
Absolutely.
normal, which has just seeped in our lives.
Yes,
It was
yes.
a very, very knowledgeable, very informative talk by you. You gave us solutions, not only discussed the challenges, but also provided many, solutions to this. And your experience has been so vast. I'm sure it has really helped you in taking the gauge of the entire situation. Um, can you take up a few questions by our participants if you can see in the
Yes,
Q&A?
yes. I just opened the Q&A.
Yes.
So, Leena Kulkarni ji, welcome and thank you for sharing your precious time here. It's become more precious in pandemic. So you're asking that can I suggest some sustainable packaging options? Yes, absolutely. So when we talk about sustainable packaging and we start talking about thinking about designing it, we must focus on two things. One is definitely something which is organic, and when I say organic, compostable packaging is a very important method that we can really use. There's a lot of innovation happening, and also, honestly, there's a lot of local knowledge also available about compostable packaging that we can still keep using. If we go back into the history, if we look at our culture, that's the kind of thing that we have been doing. So we just have to go back to our local knowledge. Compostable packaging is one thing that you can work on. And the second aspect is that we must start thinking about reusing. We have to, when you buy a product from Amazon or Flipkart, one of the things that pains me and a lot of people globally also is that there's a big box that comes in with lots of bubble wrap over there, and it hurts, and there's this tiny product that comes out of that big box. So we must need to start designing the right size of packaging. Number one, we must start thinking about reusing it. We have to start coming up with ideas, and we must start demanding these e-commerce, because e-commerce is a very big thing in future, already is, especially post pandemic, that we start demanding them, take this carton, I don't want to keep it outside in the bin, take this carton back, bring it back to me. They can do it, they should do it. So these are some areas in which we can start thinking about. So if from design perspective I talk about compostable is one, going back to our local cultural things that we have been using, the bora that we have, gaon gaon mein milta hai, abhi bhi milta hai. So let's start using them, and then let's start designing packaging in the right size. Let's not put them in a big box is what my suggestion would be here.
Very valid suggestions. Yeah.
So let's move on to the next question. I think we do over here. So
Yes.
it says, especially for fragile items, which are, yes. So bubble wrapping, thermocol, all these things can be, so if we talk about one of the ideas and if we reuse them, especially, what is bubble wrapping? It does a lot. It gives a kind of a cushion over there. Now, if we give that cushion, we can give the cushion in some more sustainable. We can do quilting. We can use waste material, fill it up with with
Straws and jute. Yeah.
straws
Straws.
and jutes,
Yeah.
yes, and we can quilt it. It will create employment for
Mm.
our artisans, for our craftspeople, and it will also eliminate the bubble wraps. They are hateful for sure, and a lot of times they don't even help. The positive thing about our straws, our quilted straws, kind of a quilt sort of a thing, is going to be that we can use it again. We should send it back. My idea over here is that don't just design your product, design your packaging, and then demand these retailers give it back to me. I don't want to leave it with you. It should come back to me. Let's move on to the next question here. So this is from Gulati ji. Thank you so much for your questions. Your question is, how can we use recycled waste fabrics and resources in wholesale? Very big question, as the fabrics will change with each product. Okay, so let me answer this question, then I'll move on to the next question, which is on, it's actually about bubble paper alternative. So I hope I have answered that. If you have any continuous question to it, please do. ask me. So first question is that, see, Gulati ji, we have to change our design. If we think that the old kind of products is what is going to be going forward, no. Consumer is tired of it. They're not interested. And this is one of the reasons that we are observing the slowdown in demand. They are bored. To put it in their words, in consumers' words, they are bored. We have to start redesigning. And this question of yours, we will have to design a product in a way that the waste fabrics and waste resources can be used. There are a lot of traditional crafts in which we use these waste material. We must start designing our packaging also, so that there also this waste material can be sent to. So if I say now, I would have loved to show a figure over here and draw, but let me try to explain this verbally. So imagine that, there are three kinds of waste that can be done. First of all, waste has to be sorted. Sorting is very important. So when we sort waste, there are three kinds of waste. One waste that can be redesigned, renewed, and reused. उसमें ज़्यादा मेहनत नहीं है. The second sort of waste is scraps. So when we get scraps, we can, use it in small items. Now, one example that I see, and one of your members, I work, a friend of mine over here. So she works with an NGO that where she, sends off her scraps, all the scraps which are lower than 10 centimeter. And that NGO then designs pouches and small little bags and small items, small accessories using that waste material. So that's the scrap. And then there is the next part of group of waste material, which cannot go in any of these. So we have to come up with industries. And in Europe, some companies have started doing it. In India also, we should really, quickly work towards it. And government can really lead this here, is that we establish industry where the fabric is broken down back to the fiber level, and once it comes back to the fiber level, then we know the fiber can be used to create a yarn, or yarn can be used to create again a new fabric. So my solution over here for this question is three. First of all, sort. First group, reuse. Second group, scraps for small items. And the third group is that you sort it, that you break it down to the fiber level to create a new fabric. So this is my answer to this question. I hope I have answered satisfactorily.
So there are, Ankita ji, we can't answer, in fact, all the questions. So maybe you can take one last question
Okay.
from the,
Okay.
lot.
So is cotton, Kulkarni ji is asking that is cotton really sustainable? Very good question. No. Supply, no. Cotton, the way we know of it, it is not really sustainable. Sustainable when we start using something in a very high quantity. So we start using pesticides to fulfill the increased demands. Now that pesticide causes lot of health issues, lot of environmental issues, we know about it. And hence cotton, although it is biodegradable, in the long run, because of this, tilted off balanced supply demand ratio, becomes unsustainable. So the answer to this is that we have to move towards organic cotton, one. But a more important answer to this question is, let's not use something too much in this huge quantity. End of more. We have to look at hemp, we have to look at linen, we have to look at these new innovations which are happening with fiber made out of pineapple skin, so on and so forth. So we have to look at alternate fibers and not overuse any resource. The formula is simple. काम करना बहुत अच्छी आदत है, पर जरूरत से ज्यादा काम करना is bad for your health. So same thing, cotton is good, but using it too much makes it unsustainable.
So thank you so much, Ankita ji. With that, I think we'll need to wind up now. But we'll be having many more webinars during our EPCH Delhi Fair Autumn 2020, which is scheduled to go online from 4th of November till 9th. It's a 6-day show, and we'll be having many seminars and webinars again. And hope to see you in one of those, in near future, if not this time.
Can I come in?
Yes, Rawatji.
Yeah, we have with us Mr. Ravi K. Pasi. Sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Chairman EPCH, Shri Ravi Pasi ji has joined us again. Sir, would you like to say a few words?
Just a sec. Sir, can you unmute yourself? Hello. I think we have lost him. There's again some technical glitch. And I think we have taken all the questions, or we still have 1 or 2 questions. Probably I'll ask him to join him in again.
So yeah, we have more questions which left unanswered.
Yes, probably you can take those questions and I'll ask him to join.
Okay, so Ankita ji, if you can just take 1 or 2 more questions, please.
Yes, absolutely. So there is an anonymous attendee, and since it talks about मैं पूरा नहीं पढ़ा है, collaboration की बात है, तो ये सबसे गरम मुद्दा होना चाहिए यहाँ पे. So your question is that could you talk about the core reason behind the lack of collaboration within the exporter community? So बहुत ही अच्छा सवाल है ये, और इसके बड़े सारे बिहेवियरल आंसर्स भी हैं, सोशल आंसर्स भी हैं, हमारी अपनी जो इनसिक्योरिटीज हैं वो इसका आंसर है. तो मैं कोशिश करती हूँ छोटी से जल्दी से एक समिंग अप तरीके से जवाब दूं. देखिए, लैक ऑफ कोलैबोरेशन होता है क्योंकि हम कंपटीशन को एक अनहेल्दी कंपटीशन की तरह ले लेते हैं. जब हम एक दूसरे के ऊपर ट्रस्ट नहीं बिल्ड कर पाते हैं, तो हमारा जो एक दूसरे के साथ कंडक्ट करने का तरीका है वो ये है कि वसुदेव कुटुंबकम नहीं है. If I've said that right, I don't know. I'm not that great in Sanskrit shloks, but हम लोग trust नहीं कर पाते हैं. This is the lack of trust causes this lack of collaboration. So we have to start building that trust. अब वो trust कैसे आ सकता है? Trust आ सकता है एक transparent communication के साथ. Please इसको ignore ना करें. Transparently communicate करें. जो आपकी needs हैं, requirements हैं, उसको ट्रांसपेरेंटली कम्युनिकेट करें. और अगर आप अनकंफर्टेबल हो रहे हैं, आपको लग रहा है कि नहीं बात नहीं बन रही है, तो खुल करके आप ट्रांसपेरेंटली अपने इश्यूज भी बताएं, ट्रांसपेरेंटली अपनी जरूरत बताएं, ट्रांसपेरेंटली अपने इश्यूज बताएं, और ट्रांसपेरेंटली अपने एरियाज ऑफ वर्क जब आप बताएंगे, तब आपका जो कोलैबोरेशन है, यू विल बी एबल टू बिल्ड अप अ कम्युनिटी that is going to be, collaborating better with each other. That's what I can say now. It's a very long journey towards which, पर अच्छी बात यह है कि हम बात करना शुरू कर रहे हैं. सारी शुरुआत बात से होती है, तो हमने बात करनी शुरू कर दी है, पहुंच भी जाएंगे.
Rightly said.
So there's another question. Can EPCH initiate a program? I think, you would be, Rajesh, you would be a better, or Chairman sir would be a better person to answer this question. I can go on to the next question over here. What is sustainable fabric? Okay. So see, sustainable fabric is a fabric which is produced in a manner that it doesn't cause harm to the environment. Number one. Number two is that it should create a positive social impact. It should create employment in the right areas. Fair wages should be paid who create that fabric. So all the skilled labor, skilled artisans who are working towards creating that fabric, they should be paid the right price for it. And you should be able to make, third thing, you should be able to make profit out of it. So sustainable fabric is a fabric with which you make profit, you leave positive social impact and a positive environmental impact. These three things create a sustainable fabric.
I think, Mriduji, we are done with the questions.
Yes, we have taken a couple of questions, and do you want me to wind up now?
Yes,
Is
yes.
Chairman
Asi
going to
won't
be
be
here
able to
with
join
us?
in. He won't be able to come back. You can wind
Okay.
up.
So with that, I once again thank you, Ankita ji, for your wonderful talk. We had so many attendees, so many participants who were listening to you, and they have a lot of takeaway points, I'm sure, from your talk. As I said, we'll be having more webinars during our online fair also. It's going to be a vast, huge online platform for our handicraft exporters of India. And we shall get to learn more about new issues which the world is facing, which handicraft sector per se is facing. Thank you, Ankita ji. Thank you to all the participants, and
Bye.
thank you, Ramati. Thank you.